Back to the Steve Malzberg show. Earlier today, as we have been telling you, the president with a statement from Martha's Vineyard on the situation in Iraq and also the situation in Ferguson, Missouri, the shooting of Michael Brown and the aftermath. Now, it reminded me of the president. Now, he didn't, actually he tried to balance, I think, more than he has in the past. He said that there's no excuse for violence against police. He said that he called for peace and calm, but he also took the police to task for harassing those two reporters that we saw harassed in the McDonald's. He also said the FBI and the Department of Justice is investigating the shooting, and it's troubling. I just don't see where a president has a say in the actual event at all. And of course, this was more balanced, as I alluded to, than, for instance, what he said while the Trayvon Martin situation was unfolding. And remember back to then.
I think all of us have to do some soul searching to figure out how does something like this happen. And that means that we examine the laws and the context for what happened, as well as the specifics of the incident. But my main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Really, I never understood that at all. Never. To me, that was a kind of a racist statement. What do you mean, if you had a son, he'd look like Trayvon? So, would he look like Michael Brown? Would he look like every black child? What do you mean, look like? That does just no place for that. I never understood that statement at all. Remember with the Cambridge police, Professor Gates, Obama's friend, when they arrested him? Remember Obama came out and made this statement?
I don't know, not having been there and not seeing all the facts, what role race played in that. But I think it's fair to say, number one, any of us would be pretty angry. Number two, that the Cambridge police acted stupidly.
Yeah, Cambridge police acted stupidly. If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. We all have to do some soul searching. I don't have any soul searching to do when it comes to Trayvon Martin. We've been through that trial. We understand what happened. Trayvon Martin was on top of the man, beating him, broke his nose, banged his head in the wall, and he got shot. Banged his head in the ground. It's unfortunate. But he wasn't hunted down because he was black. Michael Brown, we don't know what happened yet. And Obama said he didn't know what happened in Cambridge, yet he said the Cambridge cops acted stupidly. So at least today, he was a lot more balanced and a lot more reserved than he was with the Trayvon Martin case and the Professor Gates case. All right, folks, what could I tell you? Anyway, we'll be back with the founder and president of the Media Research Center, Brent Bozell, after the break. But first, this hour's American Moment, and today we take a look back at the making of FDR's 1935 Social Security Act.
Today, a hope of many years standing is in large part fulfilled.
The Social Security Act of 1935 was the cornerstone of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal agenda, a program designed to ease the burden of old age by providing a continuing income to those 65 and older, benefits to those unemployed, and protections and assistance to disabled children. At the time, the program was limited in scope since the average American's lifespan in 1940 was just 63 years. But in the dark days of the Great Depression, FDR offered comforting words to a nation emerging from the nation's worst economic crisis in its history, the Great Depression. The first Social Security check was issued on January 31st, 1940, to Ida Mae Fuller, who was unmarried. A school teacher and legal secretary, Fuller worked only 3 years under the new Social Security law, earning her a check in the amount of $22.54. Today, the average Social Security recipient receives a monthly check of $1,294, and the law was amended in 1956 to include disability benefits to those who qualify. The program was originally designed as a pay-as-you-go, self-funding trust fund with equal contributions being made by both the employer as well as the employee, as demonstrated in this 1940 film.
As soon as you get the card, show it to your employer. He'll need it on payday, for he must deduct from your salary 1.5% of your earnings as your share of the cost of Social Security.
The plan remains essentially the same today, but the system has a rocky road ahead. In 1950, 16 employees paid into the Social Security system for every one retiree. Today, 3 workers pay in per retiree, and within 2 decades, just 2 workers will pay to support each retiree. Still, since its beginning, hundreds of millions of Americans have and continue to benefit from the program.